How it goes, the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Man, another beautiful day. Getting started later with these lives and whatnot, but it's all good. You know how it is. You have a lot of things happening, and you got to get it done one way or the other. Because this will be the last thing I do tonight before I call it a night. So we're gonna chop game, and we're gonna go from there. All right. But anyways, let me make sure everything is squared away because I know me, I will forget if things are not in order. So let me get it going now. All right, shared screen. Got it. All righty, perfect. All right, we're good. All right, now, so as you see, tonight's title is, previous generations lied to us, or maybe they just didn't know. Now, this isn't a generation war or any war between anybody else. Every generation gets to learn new things because every generation gets to go through different things, different wars, different political, things, different diseases as we've gone through, obviously, different social issues, technology. So every generation's different. So that's why this isn't a generation war against millennials and Gen Xers and baby boomers, all that. I'm not going to waste time with that. But I made this title today for one specific reason. The myth behind the whole only have a 9 to 5 and work hard and you have a pension, get your education and everything's going to be all right. And it's a myth in 2021. It might have been true 20, 30 years ago, but it is a myth in 2021. Especially given the fact that 20 to 30 years ago, you still had people with the old fashioned pensions, whether if it was state government, local government, federal government, military. You had those regular pensions where if you did work a job for 20 to 30 years, then you did have the opportunity to get a great pension that you could actually live off of and whatnot. But in 2021, that's not true. That's why financial literacy is preached in a very, very big way, because most people know with all sincerity that, it's you and yours against the world economically. That's just what it is. You don't like it, hey, move to another country. But that's just how it rolls in the United States of America, which is a great country all at the same time. All right. So I'm going to start off with the actual lies about education, because I don't know about you guys. I'm a millennial. I remember being pumped and pumped and pumped and pumped in my head that you got to go to college. All right. You're going to be a loser if you don't go to college. I did go to college. I went later, but it was pumped and pumped and pumped and pumped in my freaking head that you had to go to college and whatnot. Thank you, Ebony, for the love. Greatly appreciate that. So yeah, it was pumped in my head, and I'm sure it was pumped in everyone else's head to go to college. Is there anything wrong with going to college? No, I did go to college. So that's why I said I'm not downgrading people who got an higher education, people who didn't. It's a personal choice. You have to be able to do it because you're the one that has to either walk out with a specific amount of student loan debts, or you're the one that's going to get the information so that you can utilize it in a specific way so it can help you not only have a career, but help you have a better life and teach you the skills, especially of critical thinking, all at the same time. All right. But I'm going to go over a couple of lies that are usually told out there and give my perspectives in regards to college. Now, lie number one: for successful people, college is a waste of time. Now, that is a lie right there, because a lot of people have been successful with a college education. A lot of people have not been successful with a college education. All right. So I'll give a great example. Kanye West is a college dropout, but Kanye West is a billionaire right now. All right. But it wasn't given to him. He had to work hard, and he had to look beyond his love and passion for music and whatnot. He had to look, he went into fashion, he went into all these other different genres. He became great at what he was good at in regards to the music industry, but he evolved so that he did not disappear. There's a reason why people can still talk about Kanye West today, and it's not because of some of the crazy things he says and some of the intelligent things he says. It's because the man's a billionaire. Let's start off with that. The college dropout from Chicago, Illinois, is a billionaire. He's built himself an empire. Okay. That says it all right there. But then you look at a Jeff Bezos, and you look at Elon Musk. They went to college. Okay, especially Elon Musk. He's got a multitude of degrees and whatnot. But the funny thing is, a lot of the people that he actually hires for some of his companies, a lot of them, it's not a requirement for them to have a college degree. So that is just another way to look at it. Okay, so I don't think it's a waste of time for the people that want to do it. But I think if your heart isn't in it, you shouldn't do it at all. It's like being in a certain relationship or having friendships or even having any sort of passion. I mean, it's like there's a reason why certain artists on all levels, from people who create canvases, the people that make music on all levels, the people that write screenplays and write books and whatnot, their heart is in it. Their passion is involved in it. So that's why it no one has to really give them that much of a kick in the butt to say, okay, are you going to do this or not? Because their heart is in it. When your heart is in something, your passion is in something, you really don't need that much motivation to get going. Sometimes we all need motivation to stay going. Now, I will say that much, but a lot of times we don't need motivation to get to start the engine and get in the car and get going or whatnot. Because some of the wealthiest people went to college, some of the wealthiest people didn't go to college. It's all in perspective and whatnot. All right. Lie number 2. Those who are not affluent don't need college. And once again, that is wrong. I'll give you a great example of a person who actually went to college and was already successful. Swiss Beats. That's a very, very great example right there. My man actually went to Harvard University, and he said most of the information he knew, but it was actually but he was able to going to Harvard, he was actually able to articulate some of the ideas that he wanted to implement in regards to being a more successful businessman. So, and a lot of times we have all the best ideas in the world and we can be very intelligent, but a lot of times we still need that direction in order for us to get to where we want to go at the end of the day. Lie number 3, everyone should go to college. Now that is the lie. I know that is the biggest lie. That I think that was really just sold during a time frame where employers would not look at you if you did not have a degree. So I will say that much, especially for most white collar jobs, because if you look at a lot of blue collar jobs, a lot of people have been very, very successful. And I always give them credit. People who are in the blue collar sector, from electricians, plumbers, construction workers on all levels, people that can do drywall, people that can do painting. You can have landscaping, cleaning companies. You can be very successful in doing that and even have your own business, obtaining your own contracts and whatnot in that kind of business. Mechanic, heck, especially if you're like a mechanic for the trucking industry and things of that nature. If you even have your own shop, it's just something to think about. You know what I mean? A lot of times, even being a person that's in a blue collar industry, you have no choice if you want to even make a better living or make sure that you're never unemployed, that you develop clientele outside of your job, even if you do have a job, because you're getting your hustle on, in a sense. You know what I mean? So yeah, college isn't for everybody, but not everybody can be a good mechanic either. So it's just an all in how you look at it. Okay. But previous generations, it was just pump down, pump down, pump down, pump down. You must get a college degree. And it was never really the discussion. Like I said, where I grew up at, it was 2 things in the DMV area. You either go to college or you join the military. Is there anything wrong with either one? No. But that was usually the main 2 things that were talked about. I hope for future generations that are coming up now, that it's okay. You get a certification, you get a degree, you join the military, or you work for my business. I hope that's added on in the future, because the real power is having options at the end of the day. People talk about power. They say, oh, these people got all the money in the world and blah, 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 blah. But the real power is when people have options. Like, great example, even a Jeff Bezos. He's no longer the CEO of Amazon, but Jeff Bezos has options. He's built himself an empire to where he doesn't need to be a CEO, and he's still making money off of Amazon. But he has a multitude of options. One, and economically, and his kids have a multitude of options when they grow up. It's not just join the military or go to college. And that's to me, that's more freedom when you actually build an empire to where people have more options economically to do certain things in life. Just my personal opinion on that one. All right. So that is one thing I just have to put into perspective and whatnot. Lie number 4, many college graduates don't earn as much money as they expected or used to earn because college doesn't prepare them for it. Now, I don't think that's a lie. I think it depends on what degree you get. Because there's still one thing I can say about private school colleges nowadays. They've actually cut, like, if you go to a public school or a state university, which is nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I know people want to try to twist my words. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've noticed in 2021, a lot of the private schools, like an ECPI, ITT Tech, well, no, they don't exist anymore. ECPI or Phoenix Phoenix University and whatnot. They're actually, and so many more, private universities. They've been going more and more online, one, so the colleges save money. And two, they've actually cut down a lot of the curriculums to only have, and majors, to only have the specific majors that are actually needed for today's workforce. I remember going to a state school and whatnot, between Nova and George Mason, between the community college and George Mason actual university. And I noticed that there was all these other degrees in all these areas that just weren't needed. I mean, it's just, nothing against liberal arts and whatnot, but I think that's something that, most people can't really make a living off of automatically. Like, you're supposed to go to school, especially the amount of money you pay to go to school. Unless you just have a lot of money like that, and you can just, do what you want to do. That's another story. But more and more schools, I think they're cutting down the curriculums in regards to, hey, this is what's needed in today's job force and whatnot. All these other things, like, you can learn about that online nowadays. You can read a book. But the things that are in necessity, like lawyers, doctors, nurses, engineers, scientists, these are the things. Information technology specialists. These are the things that are needed in today's world and whatnot. Anything else outside of that can really just be learned via a book or via, YouTube University, as I like to call. So that's it in regards to the perspective of the lies about college and whatnot. And, a lot of days, I mean, and here's another thing, because this was all, got this off of the Washington Post. Here's another thing to put into perspective. And I've said this 1,000 times, when tech companies like Google, Facebook, and the list can go on and on, are like, we don't care about your degrees. We care about the skill sets you have. And that's why they've created their own universities, online universities, because they want to be able to train the workforce of today and tomorrow to be able to meet the needs that they need in regards to them to operate as companies and to be able to expand their operations how they want to in an efficient manner and whatnot. But that's just my perspective in that regards. And when it comes to college, I say go if your heart's in it. Go if you're going to have a specific career. Don't just go to find yourself and whatnot, because that's what that's what they used to say back in the day. Find yourself. It's too expensive nowadays. You better find yourself in another freaking way. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm leaving it at that. Okay, but I think when it comes to anything in life, there's pros and cons. When it comes to getting a career, when it comes to joining the military, when it comes to owning a business, there's pros and cons to everything. You got to weigh the pros and weigh the cons out and see what works for you. It's like there's pros and cons living in Texas. There's pros and cons living in Florida. Pros and cons living in the DMV area. Pros and cons living in New York. Pros and cons living in California. It just, you just have to look at it from your perspective. What works for you? What are you willing to deal with? Because I know many people that moved to Florida and they couldn't stand it because of the heat, in the summertime, Texas, etc. But there's some people like me love it. Same thing, people living in Nevada and whatnot. And there's, some people actually just love living in Philadelphia. They just love living in Seattle, but it's just all about the pros and cons and what works for you. Now we're going to get into the whole thing of, because that's one of the things that the previous generations didn't have, to my personal opinion, have that much of a perspective when it came to education. People become a little bit dependent on the system, and some of the most successful people were the ones that worked with the system and worked around the system. And that's where I think most people when they're coming out of college and high school, either way, they should be given that perspective from their parents in regards to, hey, this is how the world really works. This is what your teachers taught you, but this is how the world really works. Okay, not just coming from I got a great job perspective, but hey, if I don't have a business, I've been around people who own businesses and people who are investors and whatnot, things of that nature. Because one of the things is that retirement, and I said this before and I'll say it again, retirement is not an age. Retirement is all about income. Like I said, if you won $5 billion a day at the age of 19 years old, technically you could retire. If you won $30 million today, technically you can retire, unless you just, one of those people that want to, blow money away and whatnot. That's why people play the lottery, because they have that hope that, hey, I can win a little, I can win a lot, or I can win it all or whatnot. Okay. Retirement has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with income, period. Okay. And there's actually a multitude of lies that people tell themselves about retirement. I'm going to go over them and, we'll see where we go from there. Right. Number one, I can't afford it. Now, For most people, this is true. But if you're going to play the retirement game in an old-fashioned way, then the number one thing, in my personal opinion, not giving out any financial advice, consult a financial professional. Do not say, Larry told me this. This is how I look at it, and you go from there. You have to be an adult and make your own decision, all right? Only being dependent on your employer is a single point to failure. There's nothing wrong with having an employer, but the single point of failure of, okay, I have my 401k or whatever retirement plan your employer has, and that's it. Now I might increase my contributions to this specific plan, but that's it. And that's where people fail. Okay, well, one, if you're going to just be a worker bee for the rest of your life, there's nothing wrong with that. Have multiple retirement plans. Consult a financial professional and say, hey, figure out exactly how much money you need to retire at a specific age, if that's the game you're going with. And then two, figure out, well, how many investment vehicles I need to have. Okay, I have my 401k, but do I need to have individual retirement accounts? Do I need to start getting more aggressive in investing my money into the stock market? Do I need to get more aggressive in investing in insurance policies? Or I need to get more, do I need to get a part-time job? Do I need to start a side business? Where are the areas in order for me to figure out how much money I need, where I want to retire at, and where I actually want to live? How much money am I actually going to make even when things happen? Because when we get older, we have medical issues, things happen to a house. Are we going to own the property that we're living? Am I going to live in the United States of America? These are things to take into consideration, because I did this months ago, talking about how a lot of Americans it's becoming normal for a lot of Americans, especially before the pandemic, to actually retire outside of the United States and more third world countries, because their money could take them 10 times longer than it even could in the backwoods of Mississippi or Louisiana or whatnot. Not saying nothing bad about Mississippi or Louisiana either, because I know people love to twist words. But number two, I'm so young. There's plenty of time to save for retirement later. Now that's one thing that's just a crock of, you know what, because here's the thing. The sooner the better. If you're going to play the save and invest money game, like when I was in my early 20s, most people weren't talking about trying to at least open up individual retirement account. People weren't talking about saving for retirement. Most people were just thinking about making more money so they could spend it and have fancy stuff and whatnot. I've always thought about how I can figure out how to invest my money so I can make me more money while I sleep, because there's so much work I can do, but my money does not have a pulse. My money can just run until the wheels fall off. Okay. So my money can outlive me. Your money can outlive you. So you want to figure out how many ways your money can work for you, because you can work for it, but so many hours a day, but your money can work for you 24 hours a day, 7 freaking days a week. That's just keeping it real on that note. Okay. So the sooner you start saving and investing, the better. As soon as you get more literate about how to save money and invest, especially specifically how to invest your money, the better. So the sooner the better. Okay. Number three. Statement says, when I get married someday, I won't have to worry about money. And that's another lie right there, because married couples have been worried about money since the beginning of time, especially given the fact once the landscape started to change from the regular pension system and whatnot. Because the great example, there was a time in the United States where the only one parent worked, and it was usually the male worked, and the mother would stay at home and take care of the kids and whatnot. But that is for most working people, that is gone. Most working people have to work, and most people still, even to this day, scrape by. Even though it's funny in today's world, it still boggles my mind how the banks are tired of people depositing money in their accounts, because they feel like people are putting too much money in their bank accounts. Because I think people just get more financially literate, saying, hey, we don't know where things are going to go with the economy, so we're going to play it safe and save as much freaking money as possible. We're going to earn some money, but we're going to continuously save as much as possible and invest. But most people are just on the saving tip, because it's easier to save money than it is to invest it, because it doesn't require that much knowledge or being strategic when it comes to just, okay, I got more money, let me just save it. You know what I mean? But it just depends on your situation. If you get married someday, you won't have to worry about money. Okay, well, it depends on who you're marrying. Are you marrying somebody that's at Master P or Bill Gates status or Elon Musk status, Damon John status? Let me know. All right. Number 4, counting on Social Security so I don't need to save that much money. All right. We don't know, for the millennials in the house, we don't know if Social Security is even going to be around. I'm just keeping it real on that note. We do not know if Social Security is going to be around. And with that being said, even if it is around, it's not going to be that much Heck, I was talking to my mother about this the other day about, her Social Security situation. And all I'll say is, without giving too much details, and you can do this research on your own. You can go to Social Security's website yourself. Am I against Social Security? Absolutely not, because I've been paying into it forever. However, I've seen how much one is supposed to get, and in today's world, even in the cheapest states in America, it's not enough to live off of. Okay, that's just I can't put it any other way. So if that's what you're banking on, you bet you're gonna get snake eyes. That's all I'm gonna say. So number 5, I deserve to have fun with money today. I work hard for it. I don't disagree with that. I think you should have fun with your money and whatnot, but it's one of those, it's like that old statement T.I. said. He's like, hey, look, some of you guys aren't where you want to be, but yet and still you're partying every weekend. There's nothing wrong with having a good time. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm going to go see a comedy show tomorrow. I'm going to see a comedy show in Houston in a week and a half, and I'm going to see a comedy show in San Antonio and whatnot. There's an old saying, work hard, play hard. Just don't freaking spend $5,000 on nonsense or $10,000 or more on nonsense. When it comes, because for me, when money starts to get up in that category, it better be on some freaking investments. That's just me personally. Okay. Now, spending a couple $100s to $1,000 or $2,000 on a vacation and whatnot, okay, that's fine. But what else do you have going on? Do you just have the single income? Or what if that income dries up? But you have your great social media memories that you taking selfies on the beach and whatnot, but yet you come home and then you lose your freaking job. Do you have other multiple streams of income? Do you even have investment pools to pull from in case you lose your job today? I can't answer that question. Okay, I myself make sure I have those multiple streams of income just in case something happens, because life will happen. Do you have the money saved up for when your car breaks down? Do you have the money? Do you own a house? Do you have the money saved up or money stream income constantly coming in from other sources outside of your job, so that when something happens to your house, you can take care of it right there? Do you have the credit to where you can just take care of it right there? Only you can answer those specific questions. I can't. You know what I mean? Number 6, a big inheritance is coming my way someday. Okay, great. Even if a big inheritance is coming your way someday, you still want to be as frugal as possible with your money. Let's just keep it real. Warren Buffett is one of the most frugal people on the planet, but yet he's one of the most richest people on the planet because he's a very intelligent investor. Okay. And I know my generation, we grew up with the rapper culture, everybody having the lease cars and the jewelry and the houses and the videos and whatnot, and then some actually own the stuff and whatnot. But the ones I admired the most, I used to do those videos. I'm going to go with Master P and a Baby and anybody else that was on that level, because they were about doing investments and being business people all at the same time. They might look fancy, they might have had the ice and the gold grills and things of that nature, but they were conducting business all at the same time. So it goes back to that, what I stated earlier: work hard, play hard. Number 7, I'll be able to use the equity in my home to retire on. I'm not a financial professional, but I'm not going with that. That's just me. I use equity. My personal preference is to use equity to be able to buy more real estate and be able to handle when things happen with my real estate. But that's just me personally. Okay. But if that's what you're banking on, I think you're banking wrong. But hey, maybe a financial professional can school me on this, because I'm not seeing it. All right. Number 8, I need to get my kids through college first, and then I can focus on my retirement. Well, my mindset is this: first, when you had kids, did you even open up some sort of a college savings plan, even the moment you found out you had a kid, to the point where you can at least contribute $40 to $60 a month and whatnot? Just, that's my question on that one. Okay. Yeah, I'm all about the kids going through school first, getting through school and whatnot. But what if something happens to you while they're in college? They might have to drop out. Unfortunately, that has happened to a lot of people. Did you even, so by the time, at least when they get to college, do they have money coming from a college savings account? Did they have access to get resources in regards to scholarships? Or even one of the smartest things, a lot of people I know, they actually joined the military just so that they could pay for school and whatnot. Just something to think about. So it takes the burden off the kids and takes the burden off. I remember this one kid joined the Marine Corps. He wanted to serve his country and didn't want his parents to have to worry about paying for college for him, and it worked out for him. So nowadays, you need to have as least amount of financial burdens as possible if it's not necessary. Just my personal opinion on that one. But everyone's different. Number 9, I don't want to lose money, so why invest it in the 401k or IRA? Well, I'm gonna have to. I'm trying not to laugh on this one, but I'm going to say this. All of all pensions from all jobs nowadays, your money's being invested in the stock market or in bonds or something to that effect. Okay. Majority of the old school pensions where, it's not just being invested in the stock market and whatnot, and you're guaranteed a certain amount of money regardless of your monthly contributions that you make and all that. Those days are over with in the United States for the most part. So everything's a risk. Everything, you can win or lose. But hey, at the end of the day, I can't tell you what to do. But me personally, I'm all for having those as a backup plan, because you can utilize that not only just for retirement, but you can utilize that, especially from a business perspective, if you wanted to, so that you can borrow money. It's called a qualified retirement account. It's like our individual retirement account, except especially for my business owners, and consult a financial professional, because I'm not telling you to do this. Do your research, but you can have an opportunity to make contributions to your qualified retirement account or an IRA. And if you, with a qualified retirement account, you have an opportunity to borrow money from you, you still have to pay it back, but you won't be taxed. That's the difference. And obviously it's just another pool to pull money from, even if you are taxed, in regards to dealing with a 401k IRA. A lot of times people, especially during the pandemic, a lot of people had to take money out of their 401ks because they needed it to pay their bills, to pay their mortgage, or if they had an investment property to pay that, needed it for a medical issue, and they didn't even get taxed for it, at least not yet, but they will. But it's all about backup plans. Economic game is about having backup plans. I don't care what anybody says at the end of the day. You got to have a economic backup plan, okay? Especially when you're in a position where you can actually, put money away in certain investment vehicles, because rainy days do happen, like it's been raining most of the day today. All right. Okay. Number 10, I'll start investing when the market improves. My personal opinion, that's a big mistake, because right now it's like I'm like a kid in the candy store. From when Bitcoin was down, I was buying a lot of that. The stock market is kind of down right now, so I'm like a kid in a candy store, and I'm buying when the prices go down. But that's just me personally. Like I said, I'm not giving out financial advice. You do what you do. It's like the house I live in now. I bought it when the market was down. I lucked out. You know what I mean? So the investment properties I buy now, the market isn't as in high demand in this specific area, because it's about an hour and some change away from a major city. So it's not as close to where most people want to live at. So I like to buy low and sell high. That's the old saying from Warren Buffett. Okay. And last but definitely not least, number 11, I'll plan to keep working even during retirement. That's a personal choice. But because some people love what they do, and I'm not going to knock that. If you love what you do, you don't mind getting up early in the morning. There's a gentleman at my job. He's 81 years old. He loves what he does. He's planning to retire, but he is happy as all get out. And my mindset is, if you're happy, that's all that matters. The house he lives in is paid off. He just has to worry about the insurance and the property taxes, but he couldn't be happier. And if you're happy, then yeah, one of the sweetest ladies I knew, not gonna mention her name, miss her to this day. She passed away. She was 77 years old, and it was unfortunate because she had a disease, but she had so much life left in her, and so many things she wanted to do, so many places she still wanted to live, but she still had a job and still had obligations. And those situations, this is why I am the way that I am, trying to learn as much as I can about financial literacy. It's like sports to me. I know nothing about the Redskins or the Dallas Cowboys or the Baltimore Ravens, but I know everything I need to know in regards to investing in the real estate, investing in the stock market, investing in cryptocurrency, and I learn something new about it every day, because that's my entertainment. That's my sports. And I leave it at that. Okay. And last but definitely not least, there's actually 8 inflation tips that's out there when it comes to savings and investings and retirement planning. All right. Go over this real quick, because I've been going a little bit longer than anticipated, and we'll be able to go from there. Okay. But thank you guys for rocking with me and watching. It's always greatly appreciated. All right. What do we got here? You want to start acting up now? Come on. And if you're watching and if you haven't done so, please do the great 3 free things: like, share, and subscribe. It's always greatly appreciated. No, I don't need that. What are you doing? Come on. There we go. There we go. All right. Always something. Now, number one is keep inflation news in context. And because inflation, it's inevitable at the end of the day. And we know that there's been a lot of money borrowing and printing going on at the end of the day, but in many cases, the percentage increases in inflations are coming from a low baseline. And a year ago, when the pandemic artificially depressed the cost of things like hotels and airfares and lumber and whatnot, and obviously we see all the prices of that just going up, up, up. All right. Number two, stress test inflation in your plans. Question is, should we worry about inflation? Always worry about inflation, but at the end of the day, just continuously save and invest as much as possible. Number three, figure on higher Social Security benefits in the next 2 years, next year or two. Social Security benefits have annual cost of living adjustments pegged to inflation. And once again, I'm just a person that doesn't believe in putting on your buckets all your stock into the Social Security benefits. I'm just, like I said, I'm talking millennial generation on down, because we just know better. It's just what it is. Look for opportunities in the coming months. Number four, look for opportunities in the coming months to grab for higher returns on your savings account. And a lot of people have actually been switching to the non-traditional banks that have, because so many people are learning to save more money nowadays as much as possible, that they're actually they're opening up a higher interest rate. They're getting more bang for the buck when they're saving their money, because when most people save money, you barely get not on your savings account and things of that nature. Number five, lock in low fixed rates on mortgages and other loans while you can. And that's why a lot of people have been doing that. I mean, heck, for me to refinance my house, felt like it took forever. Do a cash out refinance, that felt like that took forever. But because it's one of those get in line sort of things, and I didn't have an issue with that. And they said number six, avoid long-term bonds. Generally speaking, the longer the term of a bond, the more its price will fall when interest rates rise. And that's just something to take into consideration. Number seven, keep investing in stocks for the long term. And that's definitely what I've been doing. I employ everybody to do that. Even my people that are I'm close friends with that are traders, they talk about, they have their long-term investment game and they got their trading investing game. And they keep those worlds separate so they don't collide and whatnot. And number eight, it says keep an eye on what the Federal Reserve does to manage inflation. I can get with that. And it's just one of those things. Like I said, continuously consult your financial professionals, because there's so many things happening in today's world, from the Fed's perspective, from corporate America's perspective, stock market. You just got to keep your ear to the ground. Okay. And last but not least, for my millennial people and on down, start seeing the world. Now that the world is opening up again, start seeing the world. Enjoy all the great things that come with the world. Learn about as many cultures as possible, and be that person that might, at the end of the day, you might start building relationships with people in other countries and whatnot. Like, you have a lot of African Americans that are actually building relationships with people in parts of Africa and the Caribbean, specifically Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. People, Tanzania, people are making connections. South Africa, people are making connections with one another, especially given the fact with today's technology. And people are actually opening up. I mean, heck, even a great example, you have African American that's actually opened up a multitude of real estate projects in Accra, Ghana. Actually, it's called Aburi Hills in Accra, Ghana, and whatnot. Real estate investments going on. People are connecting. And I think that's a great thing. A lot of African American entrepreneurs actually have been going to the continent for the last decade, even before the pandemic. So I think that's a beautiful thing, because I've met, I've read stories and whatnot in regards to even a lot of people people in Central South America, they still have the connections there, and they do great in the United States of America or Canada and whatnot. And then they end up opening up a business down in Panama, down in Puerto Rico, down in the Dominican Republic, down in Mexico and whatnot. They end up buying most of the real estate down there because the prices are so much cheaper and whatnot. So I implore the people that are making the international connections. I remember telling you about the guy, you should check him out, Engineering Truth on YouTube. He was an engineer in LA for like 3 months or something like that. He hated it, and he actually just he opened his own business. He actually owns a multitude of businesses in Southeast Asia, and he loves it. He doesn't want to, he doesn't really want to live in the US anymore. Not that he has anything against the United States. He's built relationships with people that are just like him, that are social media influencers and people that own their own businesses, and the lifestyle he lives now. He's like, yeah, if I want to go to happy hour or just grab a drink at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, me and my friends can do that because we don't have regular jobs. He didn't want to live the regular lifestyle. So I implore everyone to do that, because I don't think that's where the world is heading. I think that's where the world is, to be completely honest with you. More and more international, more and more globally connected, especially given the fact with the internet. And it's just going to continuously rise. And I think the people that are going to be left behind are going to be the ones with the old-fashioned mindset of, I'm only going to have a job. I'm only going to work a 9 to 5. I'm not going to strive to do anything outside of that box. And, I think, like I said, my personal opinion, those are going to be the people that are unfortunately left behind in this new world, especially this new digitized world that we're in, especially with the pandemic just quadrupling this whole aspect at the end of the day. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I don't think previous generations lied to us. I think previous generations just did not know that or didn't want to foresee, because a lot of people get into their comfort zone and didn't want to foresee where technology was taking us. Didn't even want to read up on where technology was taking us. They didn't want to see how the world is becoming more and more global. Did not want to foresee how, establishing the right connections and even having the right social capital, not just economic capital, but having the right social capital, and not focusing so much on politics and sports and entertainment so much, but focusing more on building relationships, building businesses, building foundations, building communities, having kind of fellowship that's not just involving the normal things, but the fellowship that involves how people can come up economically all together at the same time, so they can be forced to be reckoned with from an economic perspective. All right. But at the end of the day, it's all about perspective. It's all about how you look at it. And, life is too short to worry about what happened in the past all the time. It's time to worry about what's going on right now and look towards the future. The future belongs to those who are willing to take the risk. The future belongs to the people that are not satisfied with the norm. The future belongs to those that are willing to go outside their comfort zone. The future belongs to those that are willing to leave the United States. The future belongs to those that are willing to come to the United States. So all around, you know what I'm saying? All around at the same time. So we're going to get there. What's up, Chris? Yeah, time definitely changed, that the past generations got too comfortable and didn't want to push the limit. I couldn't agree on that. I couldn't agree more on that one, brother. And it's our turn. So we're going to push everybody else to make money move, but they don't live broke like fools. I'm out, family. Take care.